Good morning. Let's get started. All right, top watch so far this morning for small cap is PRPH. One of these leading gappers, it was the leading gapper before it started falling off. We are short. We are going to look for a fade on it. Hopefully it does have the follow through. We'll see. Now this stock does have a lot of dilution typically. They love to do dilution. They have warrants at 50 cents, 60 cents. Potential offerings on the table. And the news is, okay, usually we pump and then we dump. We say starting soon. Got it. Thank you. And they have a patent. So they've just got this patent. So they're able to pump it up on this news. Probably going to dilute into it. You know, they usually do until they don't. And then you get a really big run. But typically, that's how it works. You can see every spike here is a fail. Is this one going to fail too, is the question. So again, it does follow this pattern until it doesn't. ATNF, another small cap runner. Another small cap runner. What is the news here? Oh, they bought Ethereum. That's the news. They bought Ethereum. This has been a great way to pump up stocks lately. Just say you bought some Bitcoin, some cryptocurrency, and the stock moves. Gevo, what else do we have here? Looks like no news for Gevo. Higher after reported better than expected Q2 EPS results. So earnings related news with Gevo doesn't matter. It's still junk. Still junk, Gevo. So this is basically it's an oil and gas stock. A little more complicated than that, but that's what it boils down to. Hydrocarbons used for fuels such as gasoline, jet fuel, diesel fuel, renewable energy. I'll put this one on watch. Kind of interesting. HBI. Really nice looking gapper. Okay, so some Canadian companies in talks to acquire for nearly $5 billion. Okay. potential buyout. But it doesn't trade like a buyout. It is a higher float, so not as interesting. Not as interesting. See, it just doesn't trade well. All right, that's pretty much it. PRPH coming down nicely. XFOR not up enough. This has been a good one in the past. All right, that's everything for small cap right now. Now I want to talk about the best setup in the market. So right now I am seeing BABA. BABA's looking really interesting for me. So we've got a pretty big wedge, pretty big trend break here. It has broken out of this trend. And really it's been in a massive wedge for pretty much the whole year. And it's been tightening and tightening and tightening. Now it's breaking out and forming an even tighter wedge. So it looks like to me this one pretty much needs to hold this trend line or hold inside the wedge here. Could come out a little bit and reclaim, and that's okay still. But looking for this thing to continue tightening, very similar to how Tesla did recently. Very similar to that. But we want to see this wedge hold up. And then we want to see it break out, push up to the 30s, 130s, 140s, pretty much for this trade idea. Other watches. Other things I'm keeping a really close eye on here is Reddit. Reddit is on a crazy uptrend. I think this is a little bit of a squeeze. Pushing towards all-time high. Pushing towards all-time high. So best case, we wick out the all-time high and then set up for a nice short. That would be sweet. So far, just holding trend. Very nicely holding trend. And if this trend cracks, I might be interested. PayPal. PayPal's still setting up, but it's one of these stocks that's in this 2-year range. And whenever these break out, they can really get moving. So kind of keeping an eye on that because right now it's in a downtrend. Trying to form some sort of base here, maybe. Whoops. But looking for the best setup in the market. Not quite here. I did try on this trend break. Ended up getting out when this cracked. First scratch. Now we're looking for the next one. Doesn't have to work right away. It's funny though, Intel worked really nicely. Basically the same setup, but Intel had to follow through. This one didn't. So that's the main trend line I'm looking at right now. I do prefer the longer trend lines. This one's a little bit short for me, but it's okay. Best setup in the market. Looking for it. Nike setting up. Nike is setting up. So we'll have to keep a close watch on Nike. I like this one on quite a bit. I do like this one. Now we traded it back here on this trend break and sold into the breakout. So that was a textbook trade. And we're looking to do that again. Nike could really get moving. It's kind of near the lows. It just came up off the lows. So it's hanging out. It's kind of flagging right now. And I do believe this is primed for a big move if it can have the follow through. We'll see. You know, and at least I just wanted over 80 bucks pretty much. So nothing crazy. Nothing too crazy. This is probably the best look I see so far. Other than Baba. But as you can see here, sometimes you have some time to get in. This one, last time it broke out, it had plenty of time to buy this pullback over here the next day. And then the move happened. But if you get one like MU, pull up MU, it's kind of the same thing. Broke trend, pulled back, and then it went. Pretty much best case scenario. Now I would already be selling MU if I was still in. This is the best setup in the market. Neo watching. Neo consolidating still. This is a Chinese EV play. It's got some good things happening here. Bigger trend break. Now it's holding this bull flag. Holding the bull flag. I believe this one can break out. We don't have to guess though, we can just wait. Maybe I'll guess a little bit. But it's a really nice looking flag. And with Baba's also kind of looking good. I don't know if it's the same play as Baba pretty much. It might be the same play. So I don't know if trading Neo is going to help me if I'm already in Baba, unless I just want double exposure. Maybe a little bit of diversification. This is an EV stock. Baba is not. Also, Trump just extended the tariff deadline on China for another 90 days. So these China stocks might like that. And that might give us a temporary sort of a short-term rally in these stocks. Let's see. I might just buy some Neo real quick. Just start adding a little bit in. Yeah, we'll do that. And then probably double up if it breaks out. I think we'll do that. Just such a nice looking flag. You know, it did try to break yesterday, but these things can be choppy. So still tightening in the flag, wedging. We'll see what it does. It's kind of topical. It has the news. And it has the setup, so we got to give it a try. All right. There's more. We have Netflix. This one, I already traded it. Now, some of these have really nice follow through. Netflix is still running. I already sold it. But this was a great one. Nice trend break. And it's one of those that doesn't give you a pullback to buy into. It just kind of breaks and it goes. Super nice. This kind of setup looks a lot like Coinbase right now. Which is right here. Look at Coinbase. Look at that. We have this kind of a dip here. Nice trend here on Coinbase. So looking for this one to, again, break this trend line. We have several to keep an eye on. Very interesting. MSTR. This one is already broken. This was the setup. Again, you have a breakout here. Let me get rid of these little lines. So break here, not much time to get in. It did have a bit of a pullback, a deeper pullback the next day, and then it gapped on that. So the question is, of course, how long do we stick around? I would say this hit the target already, but I could also see a case for holding for a bigger move. Profit taking is always a little bit tricky, but I would always at least sell some into these spikes. Microsoft, kind of a wild extension on Microsoft. Honestly, it looks very toppy to me. Looks pretty toppy. Let me just get rid of this line here. Yeah, I mean, when you get a spike straight up, no pullbacks since April. 0 pullbacks since April. Kind of insane. How sustainable is this? I don't know. I don't really know. At least we have a red week in there. We had one red week here. Looks like a short to me, but not something I would bet against. let's see. That's pretty much it for the watch list. That is pretty much it. Those are the best setups. As far as I can tell. And again, I am looking for the swings, so I'm looking for that several day hold or week or 2 weeks, something like that. Now, this was a crazy one. We called this one out. I called this one out last week. Tilray on this trend break right here. I was long at 61 cents. Unfortunately, I sold it for only 8% profit because we filled the gap. And then the next day, it did the breakout. So that was the original idea. So I just didn't stick around long enough. I held for several days, but I needed to hold for one more day, and that would have been the move. And now we're seeing nice gap up. Nice move here. Over $1. That's what we called out. We wanted it over $1. We wanted it over the breakout. That's pretty much the sell area. And of course, could this keep going? Could this keep, go back to $10 or something? Could, but it needs some news. It needs some real news. And I think this is more of a technical setup. So this would become, I would say, this would be similar to a Carvana. Where it just keeps going up forever. Like this. Carvana bottomed out at $3, and then now it's at 345, push up to 400 just recently over the all-time highs. Now it's pulling back, trying to hold a higher low, and we'll see if it can reclaim. So Tilray, I believe, is a very similar kind of stock where it's just about to go bankrupt, but then, no longer going bankrupt. But again, I think, we need that legalization news or something for this to really sustain. And until then, it's probably going to just do this playbook right here, where we get the breakout and then, fade back down to nothing. Probably what's going to happen. So you say Trump met with Intel CEO yesterday. Trump reversed his stance dramatically in a Truth Social post. He described the meeting as very interesting and praised Tan's success, and Rise as an amazing story. Okay. Yeah, that's funny because he was just calling that guy like a Chinese spy or something. Too many ties to the Chinese. Get him out. So Intel, I did sell my Intel swing yesterday into this morning push into the high 20s, 21 area, right around there. Again, this one could keep going. You never know. It's got a gap to fill. That's kind of the original idea with this. We want to see the gap fill, but, longer moves are harder to predict. So Sometimes I get caught holding too long. We'll see what happens though. I mean, I do think the gap fill is possible, and it's been in this channel from 18 bucks to 24, 25 bucks for quite a while. Quite a while. And eventually this will break out. So it's funny. It's kind of awesome with the pumper in chief, just flip flopping and making stuff happen in the market. It's very nice. We like the volatility. So main trades right now are going to be BABA. This is for swing trades. BABA, Neo, BABA, Neo. I do like Intel too, but I sold yesterday, so I'm kind of done with that until it sets up again. And maybe Nike. Maybe Nike. Now I wonder if this 90-day delay on the China tariffs will help Nike. Might help Nike out. I don't know. Maybe a case for Nike to push here. You know, we have 90 days. 90 days for this to play out now. So all I need to do is push the highs to have a really nice trade. All right, 1 minute to the bell. Good luck, everyone. Gonna focus up a bit here and see if there's any good day trades worth taking. PayPal's going to be set up at some point. SPY holding over PM action after report. That's right, we had that report today. CPI. Just want to see if PRPH squeezes me out or not. Probably should have covered that already. Oh well. We're going for the big move. Also, Tilray is probably going to be a short. It's a huge gap up. Over the breakout level, probably wants to fill the gap. Hopefully a gap up, morning spike, and then short. See, this is tempting to buy, but it hasn't broken out yet. Always the balance. If it rejects, I don't want to buy it. But then if it does go, I need it to be a little convincing. Okay, Intel pulling back. Nice. That's what I wanted to see. Nike kind of looking okay. Might have to enter a swing. We'll see if it rejects or if it holds up okay. It's possible Tilray is not going to morning spike, but that's the risk of shorting too early. Meta ripping out of the gate. Looks like a pretty wicked flag. Incredible. A really nice looking flag on it. PayPal kind of looking good. Baba's holding up really nice. 919s, 119s, I mean. PayPal spiking really big. Well, the problem is on these breaks, if they never pull back, then it's sad. I will take a piece of PayPal. Probably add more if it pulls back. Alrighty then. All right, Tilray is spiking over pre-market highs. Hood is ripping out of the gate. Oh, coin's pulling back though. And Meta's insane. Little dip on Tesla. I would be selling my swing on Tesla here just because I don't hold for long. I usually go in and out, so I would be very happy to sell. Just like we did with CoreWeave and UNH. Downside, you tend to miss absurd moves over longer periods of time. Is Tilray going to top out here or not? All right, little clear out. And under the open now, we'll see what happens here with Tilray. Seeing some weakness, seeing some strength too out there. Have to imagine the profit takers coming in on Tilray today into this crazy gap up. So Hood is up, Meta is up, MSTR down, Coin down, Bitcoin names are down, Duolingo down. Those odd names that we're running are down. IONQ, Intel, down. Speculative names are the first to fall. So with Tilray, we did okay on the long. We could have done better by holding an extra day. One extra day would have done it. But decent long, great entry. Killer entry. And now we're trying to hit the short. We'll see if it has the juice. It's got the odds, I think. It's fighting a bit. And this year dip buy coming. Oh, maybe. So if I was doing the swing on that one, I would have sold it yesterday. But maybe there's a follow-up in there. There might be a follow-up. Bitcoin at 119. Tilray holding up better than I like. But it doesn't have to go straight down. Churning quite a bit here. Coming into 10 o'clock. Bit of a bear flag on Tilray. Up or down? Big bidder at 103 here. Let's see what happens. Oh, he's gone. 102 now. Bids are stacked at 102. We want to see that crack. $102 looking weak. Still holding though. Okay, 102 gone. Every level is stacked though, so back to 102. Is holding up pretty well. Morning, Scotty. Looking at Tilray right now, this is a gap up short. So far it's holding though. Holding up pretty well. I don't know if it's going to do it. Always surprised by these, but would be surprised if this doesn't at least come down to the 95 area. All right, so it held a decent dip this morning, so we'll see if it has some lower low action, or is it just gonna hold up and keep going higher for a second green day? Looks like we're going to test another dip here. It's 10 o'clock, so we want to see this starting to work pretty soon. Testing the low a day again. 102. Can we crack 102 now? I like the lower high. It's really hanging on to 102. For now. The MACD's swinging back in our favor again, trying to trigger another red cycle. All right, 101, $1 being tested now. Here we go. This is the big test. $1 stacked. Bids are stacked. Can we take them out? $1 holding so far. Back to 101. Does not want to lose a dollar. It kind of wicked below the low a day right there, so we want to see that have some follow through. So far it's really fighting around a buck. Maybe we can test those lows one more time and it will crack on this next try. It's usually in the first try it doesn't crack. But try number 2 is usually it. So we're testing 101. And then if we get down there again, I think all those bids will be gone. Here we go, $1. We do have $1 stacked again. That is the major key level. We want to see that breakdown. If that snaps, it's going to really come down hard. So far, it's a pretty big wall. Okay, big sells coming through now. Ooh, 50,000 buyer. $101 tried to reclaim, but back to $1. Okay, big seller, 25,000 order right there. Sold. Let me extend this guy out. Dollar's still hanging out. It's a battle. Here we go. There we go. We lost it. Nice. See, we snapped. That's what we wanted to see. Now we want to see follow through. We want to see follow through. Just covered half. Because when you take out a key level like that, like low day, sometimes that's the bottom. Sometimes that's all you get. I think we got room more to come down. More room to come down. Plenty of room. You know, if it's going to be really strong, though, it will reclaim. But we'll see. Could risk break even on the second half. One minute MACD. Still deeply red. RSI not even triggered yet. Not even triggered yet. Hold for oversold. Don't get caught buy when or overbought or something like that. We need a better saying. Uh-oh, reclaiming $1. Not what we want to see. Doesn't necessarily matter. Doesn't have to go straight down. But that's why we covered half, so just in case. Baba's hanging out. I like Baba for a swing. I am long. We're always patient on our losers, but never on our winners. So we're trying to be patient. It is working, no problem. Nothing wrong with this. It's only 10:15, plenty of time to come down too. Are we going to have a real red day here or not? I do think there's room at least to come down to the 92 area. While PayPal is pushing pretty nicely. 68.58 right now. I did buy some PayPal too earlier. On the trend break. Nike looking kind of decent too. We'll see if Tilbury has any more pullback in it. Should. But again, this is one of those stocks, if it could easily reclaim, and then since it is a strong daily pattern, it doesn't have to pull back, but usually it's going to pull back. At least give a decent red day, at least a pullback in the morning. Oh wow, Neo came straight down. That's not good. Not too good. Wow, look at that. Not exactly what we wanted to see. Yeah, we'll see if it holds this low here. Maybe it's just gonna wick it out, come back up. I like the daily. I just love the daily on Neo. Does look nice. Looks like it's gonna be annoying though. Kramer recommended staying away from Neo. Well, now I like it even more. This is almost a certain victory. Yep. Okay, Tillery coming down more. That's what we want to see. We'll see if we can get a little bit more out of it. A little bit more would be nice. Maybe that's all she's got. I already covered half in 97s, so not really interested in getting out more unless it goes lower. Cycles are getting weaker here. Not even oversold yet. Supposed to hold for oversold. It works because it rhymes. Whoa, UNH. 261. Sick. I sold yesterday at 257. From 245s or 246. All right, I think I'll be done with Tilray. All right. So pretty much did the gap fill. I don't know if it goes lower or not. Probably does. But one way to handle it is to just trail the 50 down. Probably the best way to go. We'll see. I will probably be doing that more. I kind of have a back-tested strategy that does that, and it performs really well. You just never know if it's going to keep going. This could go down to 90 cents, 80 cents. We have no idea. So I usually take the most predictable part of the move. But then I always miss bigger moves, just like UNH. But all right, it's 10:30. I got to get going. Gonna call it there. I'll post some screenshots in the Discord later. Put this trade out there, especially a couple other ones too. But I always pike it. I always get out too soon. That's okay. Sometimes I'm right to get out too soon. But anyways, that'll be it for the day. We'll be back tomorrow. Good luck, everyone.